We're getting in the hours right now. It's late at night, and we have our dear friend from the Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce that's with us tonight. I started to say today. It is today, but it's still dark out here. And so this is Nancy, and she's the CEO over at Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce and been doing a fantastic job. And Nancy, you just tell us a little bit about what's going on with the Palm Bay Chamber, if you would.
Well, thanks, buddy.
A little bit about yourself, too, okay?
Oh, okay. Well, it was my 10th year anniversary in September at the Chamber. It's been a labor of love. As you know, I'm retiring at the end of this year, and so the Chamber was interesting when I got started. Not as viable as it is now. Let's put it that way. And so we just tried so many things, and I had so many people support me, which was fantastic. So I've been in this area about 27 years. So I called everybody I knew that first year, hey, can you come help me out? Can you do a training? Can you share? It was just impressive just how great this community is. And that really just put us on the right track. And we never looked back after that first summer when we were a little concerned. We did some fundraiser, I can't even remember now, and off we were. And so, I think it's important to have a Chamber of Commerce. A lot of people don't know what that is. Sadly, often they'll come when they're ready to close their doors, rather than seeing us as the resource to keep them going to start with. My dream was to actually have a center that would look at wrapping around services so that they could actually work there, have an office there if they wanted, but that we would bring in our resources to help them even set up their business, to do names. We had one, it was the Greenleaf. And so everyone thought it was a marijuana dispensary, and it was a organic restaurant. So, sometimes helping with just the things that could make a difference for your business was going to be important. And so that's really what I wanted to do. So never got to that goal, but every other goal I hit the mark. So I am more than happy, and we have a new CEO coming in about a week. So very excited. And the one thing that the Chamber took on was the Florida Chamber of Commerce has mapped the entire state by zip code. And you know that, the 10 root causes of poverty. You can look at every zip code in the state of Florida and see where they stand with their numbers and if they're getting better or getting worse. And, there's so many metrics that look at the third grade reading score. Sadly, that's how they determine how many prison cells that they need. It's just frightening. And when the numbers were going down, I think the Florida Chamber realized, the business community needs to get involved. And so we started with their live streams, and it was a slow process. I think there were 3 of us the first year watching it, and it slowly grew, and then all of a sudden it got traction. We were at Truth Revealed Ministries. About 12 people showed up, and they wanted something more. And we started the Brevard Prosperity Initiative. Now there's a meeting, today at 10 to 11:30, yes, at the Wings of Grace Church. And so we are bringing the business community together. We are looking at, the nonprofits understand the problem and are working on them, but you do need the business community in there to help with resources for them to get it. Often that's their next generation of workforce, and you want to make sure that they are safe, that they have health care, that they are housed, that food is security, and just safety in that. So it's been incredible. They just had the retreat this week, and the dedication, and it's not as if there's some wow, but it's those successes that are happening that are just heartwarming. It's amazing to see.
Well, I've been to several of the meetings with the Prosperity Council. Matter of fact, Councilman Smith was talking about it.
Marcus,
about it
he's
tonight,
a great supporter.
when he was here.
Yes.
And I know he's very involved in that. And Shannon's doing a wonderful job.
Oh, isn't she?
Well,
yes,
Shannon Pro. She is a motivator.
Oh,
she really is. She's a motivator. And I love just listening to her.
Yes.
But I've seen the growth in it. I'm not able to attend all the meetings. We've been shorthanded here for the last 3 or 4 weeks. But anyway, I think that's going to grow into something that's going to turn our city around a little bit, and
I agree.
because we are better together.
Yes.
And
yes.
I think I really believe it. A lot of our government agencies, they look to the nonprofits to take care of the homeless situation that we have here, but we can't do it without the businesses.
Correct.
And so this bringing all this together is just something great. I like to see it. Tell me a little bit. Tell me about some of the changes you've seen, because you've done a wonderful job, and I know the team.
Yeah, they're
I
great.
see the dedication when I'm at the meetings and things like
Yeah.
that. But tell me some of the changes you've seen in the last 10 years of your tenure
Wow.
there, because Palm Bay's come a long way.
Oh, yes, it has. I remember saying, I'm pretty sure it was about, 98,000 or something. Now there are over 150,000 residents in Palm Bay. And so when I go to a place and I say we are the second largest city in Central Florida that no one really knows about. If you look at, they show the weather map, Palm Bay's not listed, it's Melbourne, I think because they have the weather balloon there, but still I'm like, seriously, you have 150,000 residents here. So growing like crazy. And I have to say that a lot of businesses are being started. We see a lot of that happening. And like I said, I really had wanted to have an incubator so that they're not one and done. Sadly, sometimes when they join, we think, we try and talk to them about their business plan, their cash flow. That's always one of those things they almost forget to do. They may do a budget, but then they think that all of a sudden you open the doors and yay, we're set. But it often takes time to build a business and to get that cash flow, and they forget about all the expenses along the way. And it's heartbreaking when you see somebody put their life savings into a business and it doesn't make it. But I feel that there's a lot of resources. We get them hooked up to a lot of free resources between the SBA, SCORE. We have a lot of retired executives that will help with marketing plans and business plans, and so they're fantastic. And then the city has annexed a few things in and out, but there's going to be that huge development there on Miko Road. I mean, that's a city into itself almost. I mean, it's crazy. And we were excited to be, Orlando Business Journal recognized us as the fastest growing chamber in Central Florida. And that was, wow, okay. That was one of those, you've got to be kidding. But no, we certainly have worked very hard. I think always having, will this help our members? I said, we've never done a golf tournament. That helps 18 guys and their 3 friends. It's a great fundraiser. Don't get me wrong. If you're a nonprofit, think about it. But for me, I just felt we're there to really connect the business community to who they need to get connected to grow their business. Yeah. And so we really work with purpose. So that's our Brevard Prosperity does that. We now have our symposium, our Space Coast Symposium. We started that in 2017. And I remember we were so working very hard to even get 100 people at it. I mean, we were, okay, maybe some students can come. We'll give free tickets. But it was really interesting panels, and every year we changed that. And then the pandemic happened, and we didn't do that one. We were very good because Shannon, love her to death, started us back in 2016. She said, we should do like a monthly sort of program. And I went, okay, what? And she said, well, on Zoom. And I said, well, what's Zoom? And so, so she brought us into into reality with Zoom, and we had chamber chat. And we did that for years. So then when the pandemic hit, we just said, we'll do everything online. We can Zoom. And so we were ahead of the curve on that. I have to say, thank you, Shannon. She kept us afloat. But, it also was something that we're willing to try things. You know what I mean? Like, I'm one of those, I'm worst person with technology, but I'm willing to give it a whirl. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Sometimes, so when we started our SCATI, our Space Coastal Alliance for Tech and Innovation, that came out of Symposium. Because everybody, right, they said, okay, you do that once a year, when's the next one? Well, it's next year. So we started that last January. The first one, we had a networker app, and it didn't really work well. And the guy said, well, isn't this Space Coast Alliance for Tech and Innovation? I said, yes, and sometimes tech doesn't work. So we'll just go with it. But now it's so fun, and they love that app because it tells you what table to go to. You meet different people. It collects who you've met. So the next time you come, it's connecting you to somebody new. And you can put in there the kind of business you're looking for. So we do whatever we can to try and help businesses make those connections. And the one thing I should say about Brevard Prosperity Initiative, somebody said about, a nonprofit. I said, we are not doing another nonprofit. We are the conduit. So we are bringing people together to make these connections. And we're not taking money away from anybody. We are not looking to collect money, maybe to just keep it, pay for the expenses. But, that's not the purpose of it. The purpose was for us to get those connections because nonprofits, they get it and they need the help. And so, if we can bring them together and help, that's what we do.
Well, I see that growing.
Yes,
I really do. I see that growing.
Yes.
And
yes.
Like I said, having Shannon there, she is a motivator.
She
really
certainly is.
And,
yes.
There's something always to learn at every meeting I've been at.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, we have a good time around the tables.
Good.
And we learn about each other.
Yeah.
And so, as we've always said, we're better together.
Absolutely.
And so I see that growing and being something even more. And I know with the chamber, y'all have grown, and we've grown and grown and grown,
yes,
and had to move to this place and that place. And when I was in there, not the last meeting, I thought to myself, said they won't be here very long the way it's growing.
I don't know where else we can go.
I don't either. That's what I was thinking.
That's always my challenge. That's why we have events. We've been up in Titusville. I mean, we were at Kennedy Space Center. Our mayor's breakfast is the Cocoa Convention Center. Our monthly luncheons are now in Melbourne. I mean, seriously, it is a challenge to keep finding places. So, yeah, I mean, that's a good problem to have. But, when you think about it, we started when I was a member, not running it. We used to have it at Texas Roadhouse.
Wow.
Yeah, and so you're looking through the benches and trying to see everybody. I mean, it was interesting. And then we went to Life Care Center and outgrew that. And then Promise, we outgrew that. And now we're at Azan. And yeah, I don't know what's next for us.
Well,
I don't know, buddy, but, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And you're turning the reins over, so you're not real worried about that right now, are you?
Yeah, that's on them, right? No,
that's
it's always
that's your
it's
problem.
my baby.
That's your problem.
I couldn't do that. But no, it's definitely... we're just a little different chamber, and us, we hug everybody, and we're so relational, and we really feel... I think that was one thing that hit home for me was during the pandemic when... so many places were closed. We furloughed in March. We came back in June. And I had to furlough 2 of the staff. We had to make sure we were going to be there to support the business community. So there was just Carolina and myself. But people came in. They just needed somebody to talk to. And some were crying and just didn't know where to turn to. And, just for us to be there for them. The number of people that told us that they got money through the PPP program and just us keeping them informed about the information, it really was life-saving for some of those businesses.
And a lot of people didn't realize all that was available to them.
Correct.
And y'all were able to guide them down that street.
Yeah.
And, y'all done a tremendous amount for our community here. You really have.
Well, thank you.
One of the reason Amy and I have been sitting on this bench, and I wish it was close to 24 hours. We still have a long way to go. 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But anyway, the reason we started this was we just wanted to find some solutions. We wanted to have some honest conversation with people.
Yeah.
And we both our ministries. We're very involved. Our programs stay full, trying to help the homeless community.
Yeah.
We need more help. We need to bring our governments together, our cities together.
Yes.
And when we were talking with Councilman Johnson, Kenny Johnson, and both Marcus and all, we sort of asked those questions.
Yeah.
And it's a hard question to answer.
Right.
But I think Amy and I, in discussing, it seems like it's going to take the nonprofits sort of bringing our cities and our counties together and bring them to the table.
Yeah.
Because we need these government entities helping us, just as we need the businesses you were talking about.
Yep.
We can't do it alone.
Right.
And I've said this plenty of times tonight. I don't know whether you've ever heard it or not, and I'll say it one more time. People don't realize we're part of Citygate, which used to be Association of Gospel Rescue Missions. There's some odd, ministries or organizations that are part of us, that are members. And then what a lot of people don't realize, that in the United States of America, the overnight shelter beds, 70% of them are supplied each and every day in America by faith-based organizations, nonprofit organizations.
Yeah.
And that's one of our problems here. We're the only men's mission
Right.
around
Yes.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But our problem is we want you to help, but do it in somebody else's backyard.
Correct. Yes,
Do it in
we were
somebody
talking
else's
about that,
backyard.
right? Yep.
And I was just wondering, you've seen the homeless population, the change in it, the
Yes.
growth in it, things like that. Do you have any things that you think, say, hey, man, if we maybe tried this or went a different direction or something like that? Do you have any advice for us?
Well, I used to work at Serene Harbor at the Domestic Violence Center, and I think having a wraparound assistance, counseling and case management, a bed at night is great, but that's kind of a one and done. And you know that, you have a program, but we still need the one and dones. Sadly, we do. But I don't think that moves the needle to get people back into society where they can be in their own place. And there's so many hurdles now we were talking about that, having first and last month's rent, getting a job should you have a record. And I mean, back in the day when I was growing up, I was in Canada, and where I went to school was Mohawk College, and right across the road from there was a mental health institute, and it was huge. And when they closed them all, I don't know where they thought people were going to go. And I think the mental health issue is a huge problem, not just for homeless, but all of the services having to deal with it. I mean, police officers have to be trained in that, because that's, I'm sure, a huge part of who they're dealing with. And so I think the government does need to get involved and look at the entirety of it, not just a Band-Aid. And from start to finish, what would that look like, and what does make sense? I'm sure the numbers are going up. And you think of tonight when we had this torrential downpour, and I've got soaked 4 times, but I'm thinking, I have a home to go to, and I have a car I was getting into, and I can replace my shoes that got waterlogged. But if you had to sleep out in that or find a place to go, it's, or up north when it gets colder and colder in the snow, and they're sleeping over a vent, just because some heat can come out of. So I think it seems crazy that every single city deals with this, and yet they won't collaborate with each other. And Palm Bay, it's 88 square miles. It's not only the largest in population, but the largest in square miles. If you live in West Palm Bay, where do you go? There's no services. The bus doesn't even go down there. And so you couldn't even get yourself, should you have any money to get on the bus, the nearest one is you, and you're actually Melbourne. So, I think that's the challenge too, is not talking to all the nonprofits. I know we're doing the mapping. I love that. I think that's a great idea to know where the services are. So hopefully people will stop opening nonprofits, because that drives me crazy too. We don't need 2,500 here in Brevard County. I'm sure there's things that you can do together. You don't need your name on it. And so that drove me crazy too, because there's only so much money. And all you do is dilute the pot. But if we could collaborate together, I think we'll move the needle.
And that's one of the things that's been on my heart really for the last couple of years, and really it's been a little bit tough talking with our government agencies, our government leaders, but that we have a central location.
Yeah.
And if you go out to Texas, and there's a few other states, they may take up 3 or 4 blocks there, but everything is all in that area right there, including the overnight stuff is there too. Matter of fact, one of them out in Austin, Texas, they actually have a campground there.
Oh, wow.
Now they have to leave during the day and things like that.
Sure.
But they have all the wraparound services there. They have medical, they
Right.
have dental, they have the mental health counseling, they have
that's
the
perfect.
Job placement, things like that, and job training. And I think that's something that we need in our area.
Agreed.
And so one of the things Amy and I were talking about is maybe it's time that we start as a nonprofits trying to bring our government officials together. Maybe just get one from Palm Bay, one from Melbourne, one from the county, one from Titusville, and try to bring them together and start a movement, just like the mental health.
Right.
We need some of our state legislators and our federal legislators and all. We need to start lobbying again to get some mental health going back again. Back in the 80s when they really started closing those down.
Yeah.
And I was talking with a friend at Circles of Care, and now that they're sending out the caseworkers, the emergency workers with police department, the emergency, overnight place there, or 3-day Baker Act place, they're having beds when it used to stay full all the time.
Okay.
But with those people coming out of there, they don't have any place to put them after they get out of there. And, talking with one of them, he said, I've got probably about 150 people and I've got one bed to fill, and I probably need 150 beds right now.
I know somebody that did that and sadly got out and there's no place to go and committed suicide.
Yeah.
And so that's the sad reality, is that there's not a lot of mental health facilities, counselors, places you can go, and people seem to be in more and more need of mental health services.
Certainly.
And that's kind of part of the situation too, is that sadly when you hear Brightline, and a lot of people think, oh, it's somebody impatient in that. No, it's often not. Yeah. And there's another reason why you're hearing about people getting hit on, we're 72 miles long. And so there's some services in Titusville, and there's some in Melbourne, and there's some in Cocoa. But if you need to go to something, it'll take you 3 buses to get there.
Oh, yes.
And that's a challenge for our county because of geographical logistics, but also because there's so few that they are few and far between. And I know Tara's doing a great job up in Cocoa, St. Matthew's Hope.
Job.
I mean, all of them. There's so many great programs. But getting people to them, and I'm sure just like you, full. I mean, so then where do they go? And there's almost no transitional place.
That's the biggest thing. That's one of the things we want to work on too, is having that transitional housing for them to go to.
Yeah.
And it's, like I said, we have some men that have saved good money, but because of the income level they're on, that'll be spent in that first year, and then they're going to be right back where they were at. They can't afford to, keep up with the amount of rent that it costs today to live here in our area. Right. And it's like that everywhere.
Of course,
we're not in this playground by ourselves here. It's like that everywhere.
Yep.
But one of the things that I do see is that we do need some folks, and like the chamber maybe getting involved a little bit. Our government agents getting involved a little bit. And let's go after some of our government officials, and let's get them pumped up let's do something with mental health, because we work hand in hand with Circles of Care.
Yeah.
We get a call just about every
I'm sure.
Some weeks it's almost every day.
Right.
And then let's cut out some of the red tape.
Yes.
For getting a place built. Like we're talking about maybe a year and a half before we'd even get approved to start building.
Yeah.
And you don't want to start raising money worried about whether are they going to approve me or they're not going to approve me.
Yeah.
And so you're year and a half behind then. So maybe doing some streamlining on what it takes to do it.
Well, and I think that's where the government can help. And they put rules and regulations in for a reason, of course, but looking at some of that red tape and looking at are the rezoning things that can happen for, certain nonprofits, and, really how they can expedite some things. And that's another thing. I mean, even look at the aquarium. So they started off with this budget, and now they're at this budget, and it keeps going up. Yes. It's hard to really plan them because everything has gone up so much. And so for a nonprofit then to want to expand, they're having to raise so much money by the time they think they're at that, we're at the capital campaign goal. It's twice as much. And, that's a challenge too in long-term planning. I mean, we were talking about people not as engaged, I think, sometimes in nonprofits. I know that it was a challenge even when I was at Serene Harbor, but keeping people engaged in the cause and understanding and still wanting to volunteer.
It's something you're always working on.
Oh,
something you're always working on.
Yes, always.
But that was just like us. We built Helen's House, our women and children's shelter off Aurora Road. And one of the reasons we built it is because we weren't duplicating.
No.
But most of the places, the ladies that we're taking in, they don't really fit into some of these other programs.
Right.
And that was our desire, to be able to get somebody right off the streets and take care of them there. But one of the things we found out, we thought we were going to be helping mostly women with children. And we found out there were a lot of single ladies out there that had no place to go.
No.
So, maybe we don't have 32 over there right now because, we've had to put single women in.
Yeah.
And so, even building a place over there, I think that we would look at maybe helping the single women, but we don't want to duplicate either.
Right.
We don't want to duplicate.
Yeah.
One of the areas here, but we couldn't do it over there, would be having family housing.
Yes.
Family housing.
Yes.
Because I know families, they've just hit a hard time.
Yes.
They don't have addictions or anything like that.
Right.
Just something's happened.
Yep.
Like when COVID hit.
Oh, yeah.
When COVID hit.
Yeah.
And talking about the budget going up, when we started, we were pre-COVID with Helen's house is about 1.7 to build it.
Yeah.
And by the time we got through with it, it was 2.7, almost 2.9.
Wow.
That's what it ended up costing to build it.
Wow.
And and the Lord was good to us.
Of
He
course,
gave us the money to build it.
yes,
And we're open, and we have the opportunity to build 2 more over there.
That's great.
But we just want, we want to fit we want to do, instead of duplicating something else, like you said, find what's the best suited for the needs are in our community right now.
Yeah.
And we're praying about that and asking the Lord to do it.
Well, I think that mapping has been, I think it's a really good idea, because sometimes you don't realize the other nonprofits or the churches. As you say, the churches are so giving, and a lot of them have food pantries or they have outreach programs. So knowing what is there so that we're not duplicating makes a really big difference, I think, with resources. And so they started in Cocoa. I know Tara's working on that. I know Love Inc. is helping
here.
with
Chrissy's,
that. Yes.
Chrissy's heading that up. Matter of fact, they're having a meeting, I believe, next week at Helen's house.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
For the mapping part. And that's tremendous.
Yes.
What's going on there.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a blessing.
Absolutely.
And I know that, having the prosperity and just some of the information that I gained from that was a blessing to me, to be honest with you.
Oh,
and some of the things I didn't even realize were available.
I was the same when somebody, oh, you're doing what? And you've done that how long? I mean, how do I not know about that? Yeah. Sadly, I've said this about everything in Brevard County. We're sort of a small town in a way, and yet everybody seems very siloed in their, and not everything, but I even say this with the business community, is that they don't seem to know what's here and look outward for resources when it's in your own backyard, And so I think that's one of the things that if we can just look at what is here, collaborate, that would make a huge difference. You can't do it all yourself. If you really want to move that needle, collaboration really is the best way to ever get anything done. I could see that 24 years ago when, it was frustrating we would drive the women around, and, at that time, everything wasn't online. So, you're driving up to Cocoa, we were driving to Vieira Courthouse, we were driving, and so things have changed a bit, but not a lot of people always have computers, and you can go to the library. Well, then if you need help, it's personal information that, it's just all these things that it's like constant hurdles, and it's exhausting, and we need to find a way to make that easier for people to tap into resources.
The groups like Prosperity, that's a start.
Yeah,
that's a great start. It really is. And I think that's going to go a long way, and I think it's going to be a bigger blessing to our community than what people even realize right now.
Yeah.
And I thank y'all for getting that started.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Like
I said.
I was going to bring my phone over. I took a picture. I thought, man, this is pretty cool. It's a fold-up bed that has solar panels on the top that can help charge your phone. And it's for homeless people to be covered and protected. And I went, wow, that's, there's some interesting concepts. That's in Germany. And I'm thinking there are other countries that are doing some pretty cool initiatives. And, we say in chamber world, rip off and replicate. But, we can look at that at other models, and see what works in other places.
That's it.
And, because, maybe it's, it's just something for at night. But, that can make a difference too.
Sure can.
And
Sharon, I like what you said a little while ago. you know, in our rescue mission group, we share with everybody. You know, there's no sense reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
So instead of, I still people say, can you send it to me in Word so I can just change the names in it? You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, I steal all that I can.
Why not? Like, really, why not? I mean, yeah, of course you're trying not to take their entire, but that's really not what this is. It's looking at something that somebody is doing well and saying, hey, can we bring that here? Yeah. You know, is there something that we can use, or even just a portion of it, or wording that people are using that maybe gets some more donations, or, you know, resonates with people. There's a video online, and it's a man who is sitting on the ground, and he's blind, and he has a bucket out there, and the lady comes and changes his sign. And he went from no money in there to people just pouring in money because of, you know, marketing, but what the sign said. And so I have a marketing background, so I believe everything is marketing. You know, if you market it, you know, it can make things happen. So that is something where our chamber is very good at. But yeah, letting people understand, no matter the size of your business, you need to market yourself. And get the word out there, because you may be the best kept secret, but that's not helping anyone.
You know, and I hear that a lot about businesses, about ministries, and things like that. I know in Tampa, when I went to Tampa with the children's home, everybody said we're the best kept secret.
Isn't that? Don't you hate hearing that? Yeah, best kept secret. Well, stop keeping it a secret and get it out there.
And then I come here, and literally we've had people that have come on the property that you know, I've met somewhere at a chamber meeting or something like that. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
And they say, you know, I've driven by there and never realized that was a rescue mission.
Oh, well, we get that for the chamber. Oh, where's your chamber? Oh, I drive by that every day, like for years.
I did. I drove by for a while, going back and forth to Malabar.
He said, we have a digital sign. I don't know what more we need.
I said the Chamber of Commerce moved here, and then I found out I'd been there for a year. So,
that building's like 1950 something. I don't know. It's so funny. But yeah, I think sometimes too, we get in our little worlds and we don't really look what's around us. And I was just saying that the other day, there's a business almost right across from the chamber almost, and I had no idea. And when they joined our chamber, and I went, where are you located? And they go, oh yeah, just up the block. I went, really? How long have you been there? Oh, years. Okay. I mean, yeah. So I'm the bad too, looking around. I try and look at the road, so I'm you know, a good driver. But yeah, I think we just don't always know what's in our own community, and yeah, I think that's sad. And so I keep telling people to call 211 because they are a really good resource. You know, I worked their hotline one time, well, I guess 2 weekends after a hurricane, and their teams, that was when they were in the old building, and I think that was the Charlie, Francis, and Jean year, and everybody was exhausted. And so I helped on that, and, you know, people calling that they had no food, the refrigerator, all the food was spoiled, where did they go? I mean, trying to find places that were open. A lot had been damaged the one year when we had blue tarps everywhere. I mean, everybody was kind of in the same boat. Yeah. So it was like, where do you know, it was heartbreaking to be on that. And I think I think for some people, they don't realize how big the need is, but they can all play a part. Like, there's something that everybody can do to move this needle. And I think if we all think that way, you know, things can change.
Well, you know, talking about 211, and that's a great resource here in town. But
it is.
I tell everyone, don't call for someone else.
Right.
You know, have that person that you're trying to help sitting there with you so they can speak with them and all that. We get calls, several calls a day. Yeah. And it'll be someone saying, well, you know, I got a friend. Yeah. And I'll sit there and I'll give them a brief of our program or whoever's handling the call and say, have them get in touch with us. Okay. Because most of the people that you're talking to for someone else, they never show up. They never get in touch with you. So if you're out there listening to this, and I tell you what, 211 is a great resource in our area to help those that are homeless, help those that are having some issues with housing right now and everything. And I say call them, but the person that is needing the help is the one that needs to really get in touch with them. And go through that stay with them and be able to answer those questions they have for them. But it was a great, and thank you for volunteering there. I'll tell you, you're the second person in the past few weeks I've met that volunteered there. I had no idea. Yeah, well, it was right after the hurricane, and they still send me about the meeting notice and stuff, and now it's been kind of busy the last 10 years, so I haven't been able to help as much. You've had your hands full. Yeah. You've had your hands full and done a great job. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, buddy. Yeah. But that's something. I mean, really, there's places to volunteer.
that make a difference. And I one of my great friends, Joanne, would go to Daily Bread and help in the food kitchen. She just loved that. And she would go every Sunday. She would be there helping with prep and serving. And there's opportunities. And even if the one place can't accommodate you, there's others. Meals on Wheels, there's so many places that need people.
Certainly.
And sadly, we were talking about this with the next generation, trying to get them engaged in community service.
That's it.
And it's a real challenge. And you want them to think about others, not just be very self-centered.
That's
If I
it.
see all these people with their little selfies and stuff, like that's their whole, goal in life is to be an influencer. It's like, well, do it for the right reason. Do it for good, not just you, know. And
there's plenty of nonprofits out there, and I don't know of one that's not seeking volunteers all the time.
Yes.
If you have a desire, you have some time, there's some great organizations, some great nonprofits in our area.
Agreed.
That are doing many different facets of helping with us, the homeless or those with mental health issues, children, and go get plugged in somewhere.
Right.
Just give a day or give a few hours,
Right.
maybe in a day and all. And I promise you, it'll make a difference in our community. It really will. Thank you for bringing that up.
Oh, yeah. Actually, what was neat was, once again, during the pandemic, so Aging Matters reached out, and they wanted community leaders to go on a run for Meals on Wheels. And that was eye-opening. And I was just talking to somebody yesterday who drives, and she said, when you hear the senior stories, and not all of them are seniors, and you feel like you're sort of their lifeline to society, because a lot don't get out. And she said, I've been doing it for years. My mother-in-law did it for 20 plus years. I mean, she was amazing. And to have that bring that kind of joy to somebody, I mean, that's life-changing. It really is.
Meals on
Yeah.
Wheels is something else. One of the founders of the children's home I used to run, his mother, 86 years old, was still delivering Meals on Wheels.
That's my mother-in-law. Yep.
And we had this big meeting going on, and she said, well, I got to leave. Said, I got to go take these old folks their meals.
I have a job to do.
And I said, Miss Rivers, you're probably older than most of the people you're carrying meals to,
That's
Can't
great.
somebody else do it for you today? She said, no, I got to go take care of those poor old people. And so I just saw the joy in her just being able to do that. And I mean, that was her life there for many years, and the lives are touched. So there's places out there to volunteer your time. Thank you for volunteering your time and coming down here in the middle of the night.
Oh, sure.
And I know you've got a meeting that you need to be at 10 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to let you go.
Well, thank you, buddy.
And thank you for all your hard work, and
you.
enjoy your retirement.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
And I'm going to start taking bets from everybody on how long she's going to stay retired. Somebody's going to swoop her up and get her volunteering somewhere. But anyway, enjoy your trip. Enjoy it
yes,
for a while.
yes,
Okay?
I do have some trips planned, so you know that.
All right.
Thanks,
Lord
buddy.
bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All righty. Thank you.